All right. I'd like to welcome you guys to the Mad Maker Show. Now, a couple of things before we start. For those of you that haven't seen the show before, what we try to do, we call it the Mad Maker Show because I've always thought that people that make things, and that includes a whole list of things, just anything from woodworking, metalworking, crafts in general, music, whatever the case may be. Kind of, at least to me, I've always seemed to, and you can read about it, they're missing a few, screws here and there. And so in the show, we like to interview people, talk to makers, and see what makes them tick, and see where we can get inspiration from them. So that's what we do in the show. Before we get started, my name is Eloy. I have a website called Rockin' Woodworks. Link is in the description. We have articles, Q&A articles with photographs of these interviews, and they usually come out a week afterwards. So check out that website as well. And we're going to be interviewing somebody today that a lot of you know. Some of you might not know. But let me introduce Jamie Page, JP Woodwork. He's our co-host.
How you doing, everybody? Like Eli just said, I'm JP, or JP Woodwork, which is up there. I am also 1/5 of the Makers International podcast, right there. And I'm also a proud member of Harney Media, right there. Which Steve helps out with both of mine and the podcast websites. So yeah, you can go visit that at harneymedia.com. I really can't thank him enough for that. I'm sporting my wartoothdesigns.com t-shirt and drinking my coffee at my mancrafting mug, which you can find at mancraftingtm.com. So yeah, and now on to Mike. And I've been looking forward to this. And I'm going to get in the first question before we go over to him. So, Mike, I, as everybody knows, do a bit of Photoshop in my time. And I want to know, what is the reason behind this?
Funny you should ask, Jamie. That would be a minion who
You got to make the noise, Mike. Otherwise, it makes no relevance.
Beto.
That's better.
Yes, I'm a volunteer fire chief in my town here, and that's pretty much that.
There we go.
Well, that's a great way to start. We have to. Is anything else you want to add about that, Mike?
Well, I've been doing it since I was 15. It's a volunteer position, so it's I have a regular day job, which is I work for Verizon, and then in between running around with 4 kids, I come in the shop and make stuff. All
right, so the I love I love the segue how you started off just to get him off balance, because we're all mad, right? So I want to now, breaking from that, the first question is, could you tell us a little bit about where you're from, your history, and where you're at now?
Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I grew up there for quite a few years, and then migrated to New Jersey, northern Jersey. Small town called Richfield Park. That's where I went to school. I graduated, and eventually I met my wife, who lived in Central Jersey, and I migrated down here with her. And we have 4 kids. I live in Freehold, New Jersey. And that's about really it.
Wait a minute. So you graduated?
Just high school.
Okay.
So the first time I met you was, I believe, is through the group, the I Like to Make Stuff group. And it was probably a year or more ago, maybe 2 years. And
yeah, probably two.
yeah, about 2 years. So when did you start on social media, and how did that all come about?
As myself or as Miter Mike?
Well, that's a good question. Well, as Miter Mike, within what you make, you know.
Well, I've been doing, woodworking, construction, pretty much since high school, and I just have a passion for it, and I like to do it. And pretty much everything in my house, I do myself. Just a quick thing is when my wife and I first got married, we didn't have much money for us to hire anybody. So I told my wife that if she bought me the tool, I would do the job. So she wanted crown molding put up. So she went to the store and bought a miter box and a back saw and came home and said that the guy said to use this. And I said, no, a miter saw, meaning like a chop saw. I said, there's no way I'm doing crown molding with a back saw. So that's where my first tool actually came about, and kind of how I kind of got my name.
Oh, I see. I see.
That was the original. That was pretty much my original tool I ever really bought.
And as far as you jumping into making videos and having a presence online, connecting with the community?
That was the exact way. I don't remember the exact way how I came into a hangout one day with Nick Ferry and Charles and I think Patrick, and I was in the hangout and I was telling them, what I do, and I told them I was watching them guys, and they're like, you should make a video. I'm like, who wants to see a video of stuff I do? And they're like, people will watch it. People don't know everything. Some people watch it for entertainment. Some people watch it to learn something. So I said, all right, let me try my hand at this. And as you can see in my beginning videos, and it hasn't improved much, but kind of getting a little better. So
I see behind you a lot of stickers from a lot of people. A lot of them I know, some of them I don't know. You've met a lot of people, like you're known out there, right? If you guys look at it, I'm going to stop talking to you to point out the backboard there.
Well, these are, I don't know if you could hear me if I turn my back, but I think, where'd I go? I went to Atlanta 2 years ago. Yes. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to WIA where everybody was. My wife was unfortunate. Well, not unfortunately, but she was stuck in the hospital having our child, our fourth child, and I was unable to go. So I missed that one. But then I made it to Atlanta, and I got quite a bit of stickers, and got to meet a lot of people in person that we talked to on Hangouts. We talked to over the YouTubes, which was kind of cool. And it's just, it's kind of grown since then.
Awesome, dude. So tell us a little bit about, right now we've been joking a lot where your name is Miter Mike, and you've been lately working a lot with amazing scroll saw work as well. So how long have you been scroll sawing, and what have you been doing lately? If you have anything you could show, and just tell us a little bit about that. A lot of people are interested in scroll saw. I have a scroll saw. Jamie Page does a lot of scroll sawing. We know that there's Charles Deering out there. He's probably in the chat. Oh, by the way, was Mark Christopher in the chat as well?
He was. I'm not sure if he's still there.
Well, we know he came out of the hospital. He's doing better, so we want to wish him a speedy recovery.
Without doubt.
So Mike, yeah, hit us with a little bit of that.
All right. Yeah. To tell you the truth, I had when I worked for Kmart, they were going out of business, and they sold all their bench top line. And I actually bought a bench top scroll saw, and it sat in a box for 15 years. I broke it out one day to do a half attempt at a Mother's Day project for my wife. You know, I outlined the hand of my kids. I didn't cut around their finger. I outlined with a pencil first, and then cut out their hand, glued it onto a board, and, you know, number one mom, and that was it. And that was pretty much also on. Then everybody got me into, or Charles got me into looking at, and Russ got me into looking at the DeWalt. You know, that's the top of the line, other than the $50,000 other scroll saw. So I had picked up a DeWalt used and started scrolling, and I just I like to do it, and I could do it wee hours in the morning in the garage, which is my shop. Nobody in the house really get woken up by it, and I don't sleep much, so I can kind of come out here and goof off. And so my daughters were having some nightmares, and I decided to make them a couple of Dreamcatchers. I probably should have had a backer here. There it is. I don't know if you can see that now.
Dude, that's an insane amount of work.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was a hard one. What?
they're not bad.
Yeah, you know. Don't put it away yet. Oh, before you show that, I just want to say one thing. There seems to be, like, scroll solvers are very passionate and warlike, tribe-like with their work.
I'll tell you what, right? I know I'll give Mike a lot of hell for scroll sawing, but a short amount of time that Mike's been doing it, he is impressive. And I hate saying that. I hate being nice to Mike, and I think we're going to have a lay down in a minute. But for the short amount of time he's been doing it, I mean, I'm just a newbie. But yeah, he's been doing it. He's been doing some incredible work.
Mike, could you show?
This was actually my first. This pattern was my actual first piece. This is a Charles Deering pattern.
Yeah, you can tell.
And, yeah. And if you buy any of Charles's stuff, you'll hate him for a couple of hours while you're doing it. But I don't know if you could see that inside the halter, the lines.
Amazing.
You know,
are you using? I'm sorry, I just have to ask, because at the same time, are you using, what is it, the spiral bit?
The first time I cut this pattern, I did a flat blade, and it was tough, and just because of all the turns and everything's so tight, I switched over to spirals, and I'm never going back to flat blades. I like the spirals so much better. I don't have to go in one direction. I can move it around a lot easier, and I could get bigger pieces on the scroll saw because it's only 20 inches or 21 inches deep. So I can, you know, finagle a piece. If you figure it 20 inches wide each way, you know, it's 40, almost, you know, 40 something inches I could get in there and scroll.
Temple Boy, thank you, Steve. I'm gonna get you back, man. So obviously you recommend a spiral bit, because I've only just used the straight blades.
I mean, I like the spiral. You can't, in the beginning, don't go fast with the spiral because it chews out a lot. But you know, I don't go, and I'm thinking still about doing a couple of videos on the scroll saw, like not really to teach, but to just show like what I've learned and what things I've done wrong. You know, kind of something like that. Because I mean, I haven't. When did I make that horse head? That was May, I believe, right? May. Yeah, my father-in-law's birthday's in May, so May is when I pretty much started scroll sawing.
Oh wow, dude.
Year.
Well, I just within the topic, I've had a scroll saw for a couple of years. It's the Harbor Freight scroll saw, and I've never used it for what it's like traditionally meant to be used for. So I'll use it to, like, I'll make a box and then I'll take and create hinges out of wood, and I'll use it for stuff like that, or for what do you call those light boxes? And I'll cut, you know, the wording so that I could put lights in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've never used it for, and I think the reason is, it takes a lot of, I mean, you have to have a lot of patience to, particularly the Dreamcatcher like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. That was I want to say, how many hours was that? I think that was like 12 hours each. I think I did about. You know, I just did a butterfly for one of our friends who survived breast cancer.
Right.
And, you know, I just did that butterfly, and that took me 20-something hours to cut out all the letters. You know, it wasn't a scroll saw pattern. I just made it into one, you know.
Yeah, to me, scroll sawers have to have a lot of, and they do, patience, particularly when they're doing that framed wall art and stuff. And I get really jittery. I want to go to the next. I want to get the darn thing finished, you know. So that's one of those things. Before we continue, JP, if they have any questions out in the chat, and if you guys out in the chat want to drop a question there for Mike, go right ahead and do so.
Javi did want to know if these stickers peeling off of Mike's Stickable Jet.
The only one is Tony Rouleau. He had cheap stickers. That's the only one I have to keep pushing on there.
Apart from that, I think they're all just complimenting you and talking amongst themselves. Oh, hang on, tell a lie. Question for Mike and Mike. This is from Javi. I've never seen him Miter. Why is he called Mike? Which you've already answered.
Yeah, he didn't want to use those little boxes with the saw, so he figured, get me a good miter saw.
Well, if you watch my coffered sealing video, you'll see that I use the miter saw a lot.
So you showed us the horse, which is Charles Deering pattern, and you showed us the Dreamcatcher. I really like the story behind I didn't know that part of it, you know, that it was because your kids were having a little bit of nightmares and stuff. And did it work, by the way? Did the Dreamcatcher
Yeah, I mean,
work?
you know, they every time, well, I'd be scrolling in the wee hours of the morning, I go to bed and they're laying in my bed. So in order to get them back in their bed, I made them the Dreamcatchers, and it seems to be working.
That's awesome, dude. What a trip. And you showed us another one, but we kind of talked over it, and you showed us like a drawing or painting type thing.
Yeah, that was
a minion.
It is my, what do you call that?
Self-portrait.
Alter ego?
The self-portrait.
Beto.
There we go.
This is a Kenny Hopkins design. He did it, and I cut it out, painted it, and I'm actually going to send this off to somebody in the woodworking community, a friend of ours, and I'm not going to say who it is until they get it.
All right. So, JP, any questions for Miter Mike?
Yeah, Mike, who are you sending that to?
I'm not sending it across the pond, I'll tell you that much.
Mancrafting says, why does Jamie always say be-do, be-do? Chad, watch Minions. or Despicable Me?
Just go online and search Be-Do Be-Do. You'll find out.
Yeah. Not many questions, but I can tell you, over in the chat, we've got Shelley Cole from Knows What Mums Knows. We've got Javi, Mitch Dietrich, Charles Deeren, Mancrafting, Katie Dotson, Bob Lee's Workshop, Temple Boy Turnings, Harney Media, which is of course Steve, Awesome Fun Things, also known as Awesome Wood Things. Who else? We've got Ragtide, and we've also got Mark Christopher, Shogun Jimmy, and many, many more.
Awesome. All right, so Mike, you have now a website that you put up. What kind are you going to be? Because we were talking earlier, and I know that. So, all types of woodworking takes the time it takes, plus the cost of materials and all that. But I think I heard you say something to the effect that you're going to be putting up some of your works for sale. I mean, is that something you're looking to do officially, or you're still pondering, or you have stuff up?
No, yes, I am going to put it up on the website. Right now, I guess just from social media, I have a couple things that I have to remake for people. I guess, you know, my wife knows a bunch of people, so when she shares, you know, some of the projects, a lot of people are asking her for me to do things. So there's, like, I have to do 2 of those butterflies, you know, a couple other things. But yeah, everything that I've made so far, I've taken pictures of, will be put up on my website. And then if I have to make it again, I'll just make it again. And I'd like to say that Harney Media is a sponsor of mine. He is running my website. Thank you, Steve, for all you do. Unfortunately, my banner won't work right now, so I can't even have that up there.
Yeah, I have.
Let me throw it in there.
Yeah, I have the older banner. I couldn't find my newer banner. JP's the only one up to date here.
I'm the only one that put in the effort.
Well, listen, we mentioned Harney Media. Steve Nealon started the company, and from that company, there's a lot of services that are provided, and he's set up a lot of websites for a lot of us. Everyone here on the panel, myself, Mancrafting, heck, even Makers International, yeah?
Yeah, I've got 2.
Yeah. Javi's Woodshop as well, Charles Deering. There's a long list. And the cool thing was that, you know, I reached out to Steve and I said, dude, could you do, and he set up a great website. I'm, you know, populating it with articles and my music as well, because I'm selling song tracks. I will be selling song tracks individually apart from my music pack, which is geared towards makers that are looking for original music that's not the same old reused stuff that you find on YouTube. And that way you don't have to worry about copyright issues and all that jazz. Can you mention about that Makers Media Network, JP?
Sorry, I was over on the.
I'm sorry if I threw that in.
I was over on the chat.
No, because.
Sorry, say again.
No, you on the side you popped up a little thing to talk about me, but I don't have the wording in my mind.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading the thing. It was a cue for you to talk about it as you was in.
Yeah.
Call it.
Oh, it's okay to show the dirty backside of the chat, of our personal chat, because I had no, you know, I want to fulfill the question, but I just have no way of.
No, me.
I don't have it set up in my brain here.
Not me.
Well, so getting back to Mike. So Mike, can you share with us a few of your projects so folks can see? I'm gonna switch over to you so that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Give us a little breakdown of these projects. Let me present Mike. All right.
All right. So you see here, right? This is the last the last project I did, which was very hard because this was not a scroll saw pattern. But as I, I've been talking to Charles a lot and learning. I'm not going to be making my own designs, but as I was doing this, like originally I was going to make floaters, which is like the center of the O and the P, and then just glue them back in later. But then I was like, there's way too many of them to keep track. So what I did is
the black on top?
Yes, the black's on top.
Okay, okay.
And as I was going through, I would kind of figure out where not to cut in order to keep that piece there. So this in here is you really can't see. I can't zoom this, unfortunately, unless I go to. Can I go to Facebook? I still can't zoom, can I? Nope. Sorry, I thought I could zoom in here. But in here, there's a Fight Like a Girl, which is just like a single blade. I think I did a 3/0, which is very, very thin. And then these are boxing gloves. And I was trying to figure out how to do an outline of it without losing, it actually worked. So I was kind of very happy on that. That was one of the many things I wanted to do for a while. These I did for my chiropractor. This is a
very cool. I dig the wood and the blue on the back like that.
Yeah, I think it was Sume. Yeah, Sume, scroll saw artist. That's where I got that pattern. I did one for my physical therapist.
I bet you they're super happy with when you brought that in. They didn't even expect that, yeah?
No, yeah, they didn't expect it at all.
Isn't there a funny story behind the chiropractor one?
Oh, the spine?
Yeah. Why did you actually make the chiropractor one?
My chiropractor actually messed up his wrist, actually adjusting me. I was out for months. He had screws put into his wrist. So I kind of felt bad that he was out of work for a while. This is a window seat I'm doing in my living room or family room, den, whatever you want to call it. It is 90% done. The video is just recorded. I haven't edited or anything yet, but there'll be a video. These I did for my wife. These are like passes for the kids. I made it out of a 1/4-inch plywood, birch. I painted them, and I put little rare earth magnets, recessed rare earth magnets on the back, so she could put it on her board.
How big are they?
What are they? 8 inches wide by 3 inches tall, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, that was kind of fun. That was my first time. I actually designed this, which I may start doing more of. Word in word. I think that's what they call this. Word in word art. I think it's fun. It's just a little tricky. How to
Yeah, you actually helped me out with some as well, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, they come
you
and
Sterling. I helped Sterling out with one, which was fun. This I did for my the neighborhood. They're gonna have a little free library. It's like you drop a book off and you take a book.
That's very
some
nice.
woman that asked me, would I make it? She'll pay me. And I said, 90% of the stuff I have laying around. I said, I'll just do it for free if you pay for my name to be on the plaque or the little, whatever you want to call this thing. And she said, sure. So That's how
Well, dude,
that came about. And
that's super. In my neighborhood, that would be unheard of. They'll probably take bats to it, you know, down here.
well, I tell you, this thing, it's made out of 3/4 inch. It is. I have the roof is actually shingled, but it also has the ice membrane on top of it.
So you're like heavy duty, dude. That's like I could crawl up in there. If things go south here in Miami, I could crawl up in there and that would be a home.
Oh, this thing is heavy as you know what. And I told the lady, I said, I dropped it off to her. I said, I want it out of my shop. Let me know when you're ready to install it. And, you know, because she got the approval from the township. She did all the legwork. I just built it, you know. And I think, did I put a video out on that yet? I don't even remember. Did I? Yeah, I think I put a video out on that.
Is the window plexiglass?
Yeah, that's plexiglass. But I put magnets on the door frame.
Right.
And that ain't coming up. I tested it with my my air compressor, like right up on it, and it won't blow open. So I think I put 4 magnets I put on there. So that sucker's not.
Did you caulk the inside and all that around the edges?
Yeah, everything is caulked and construction adhesive together. And I actually spray painted the whole thing with that, what's that, Flex Seal stuff.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Just for fun, I wanted to try it. I painted it. It works. I mean, it's not going anywhere. That thing will last probably longer than some of the houses in this development because of the crummy builder.
Really? Why do you say that, though? I'm curious.
Just the way they built these houses here. You know.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, that's man crafting. Made me some cool mugs. Thank you, Chad. But yeah, no, the way they put up houses these days is just they're just doing it to make money. They're not doing it as any type of craftsmanship or anything, you know. So they'll do truss roofs, truss flooring, which is in the fire department is like the worst thing we ever want to see, because once one of them is compromised, the whole roof is compromised. Nobody is ever going on a roof. You know, and things burn much faster, hotter. You know, years ago, you'd have like 10 minutes before anything would really be detrimental. You know, 10 to 15 minutes. Now it's, you know, within 5 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes, you know, you can have a room fully engulfed.
Wow.
Just because of, you know, just because of the products and everything that's made these days. It's just, it burns faster and hotter. So this, I made this for a friend of ours. Her cat passed, and this is another Charles Deering pattern, which I think this bottom corner right here took me over 2 hours to cut.
Yeah, that's just insane, dude. I'm sure it's easier. So, like, you know, obviously I've got a very basic scroll saw, but I'm sure it would. I mean, I'm just talking, you know, what I'm thinking here, but I'm sure it makes it a little bit easier to have that blade, spiral blade, and a good scroll saw. Yeah.
You know what, Eloy? You say that my scroll saw is exactly the same as yours. It come out of the same factory, just painted a different color. You could easily do that, Tiger.
Well, just think. I mean, Sterling Davis, I think, used the Harbor Freight one for years. That was his scroll saw until just recently. I think he upgraded, but yeah, for the longest time he was doing his stuff. He used that, and you know, I mean, you could tell the difference once you change over to one of the higher end ones, but you can use it. I mean,
well, I'll tell you what, I guess with that lamp that I own and that you have, and I think Charles has, that lamp where it's got the magnifying and the white light around it, you could bring it nice and close and look at the detail while you're cutting. I think that helps.
Yes.
That helps too. But boy, you have to have patience, man.
Yeah, you know, that's the funny thing. My wife says, you know, like anytime a chain gets all tangled up, I'll sit down and I'll actually untangle the chain, or, you know, Christmas lights, if they get tangled up, I'll sit there and I'll untangle all the Christmas lights. I'll test the bulbs. And people are like, you're out of your mind. But, you know, I don't know. It's just meticulous things like that is I kind of have fun with. This year I did
got a couple of questions from the chat.
All right.
Now, right, we've got one from Steve Twardell.
Before you go, let's stop sharing for one moment and we'll come back to sharing.
Yeah. Hold on.
Let me see here. There we go.
Rightio. Okay, so we've got one from Steve Twardell that says, "Does Mike demonstrate or teach? If he doesn't, he should."
Oh, thank you, Steve. I don't. I might start doing a little bit. I don't know about. I'll demonstrate, but I don't know about teaching so much yet.
Oh, by the way, since we have Temple Boy Turnings asking a question next week, folks, we're going to have Stephen Twidell live here on the Mad Maker Show.
Boom.
Temple Boom.
Exactly.
That's right. So okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And the second question comes from Matt Hoss from Awesome Wood Things and his new second channel, Awesome Fun Things. In case you didn't know about that, he says, "Can we start calling Mike the artist formerly known as Mitre Mike?"
I'll have to make a symbol. What kind of symbol should I make?
No symbol. the non-symbol symbol.
What about something like
that? Like that. You got to do something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, Mike.
Strike a pose.
Come on, Mike. Like this. Come on. All right. Dear. Let me present you so you can show us the other projects here. All right.
This year, my neighbor, who I started teaching when he was 5. Yeah, 5. My son and him, they're the same age, and we were teaching. I taught soccer. He plays right now for the Red Bulls Junior Academy. You know, he's only 13, but he's keep an eye out for him. His name is Jack, and I think he'll be. You know, he's very, very talented in playing soccer. So he had his bar mitzvah, and his mom and dad asked me to. And I said, well, if you get me a picture, I'll just blow the picture up of a pose, and I'll do them. And so I did 3 different poses for them. This is just out of foam board, you know, and I stacked it. So I did 3 of each. So he had a total of 9. Them up, you know, on top of each other, and I cut, you know, the one pattern out of each one, and they loved it. And this year is one of the neighbors had designed that shield for him, and I said, all right, well, I'll make it. And it's 4 foot tall by 3 foot wide, and it hangs in his room. They're like, well, why'd you make it so big? I was like, why not?
Dude, your community must love you, dude. I mean, you do so much for. Look, I'm sorry. It's just like when I juxtapose all the good vibes, and I think of my area. I won't name Sweetwater so as not to. Oh, I just did. But boy, this is cutthroat down here, and there's a little bit more love up in your area, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, my neighbors and. We get along pretty well, you know. They like my Christmas lights.
Greg, thank you for the. Greg, thank you so much for the super chat. Greg, up in can you link the dudes in the chat? You guys go check out Greg and check out Temple Boy.
And it's this is a Steve Carmichael designed this. And I did one for my niece and one for my nephew who graduated high school this year. So
oh, that's awesome, dude.
Kind of a quick gift for them.
And that's a Carmichael design?
Yes, this is a Carmichael. And I actually did a video on this one picture, you know, one frame. Steve's awesome. He's got a couple of different things. And my son. You got to be safe, right?
Wow, dude.
Yeah, we did bunk beds, he and I. That's the horse head. And I do a lot of stuff in the house. This I ripped apart every exterior wall in my house. I spray foamed it and I put new sheetrock up. And this was just, you know, little construction stuff I was posting.
What was happening there before, though? I'm sorry, I didn't. Did you mention?
Nothing. It was just regular old, you know, the pink insulation. So I decided to rip it out and spray foam everything. And upstairs, I don't have to put the heat on high at all.
Hey, is that a picture of you in? Is that a picture of you in Duresta up there somewhere?
Yeah.
Did you get one of the?
Through the
Yes,
ice pick.
Ice pick. It's hanging up. It's hanging up over there on the bench.
Nice, dude. Was that Georgia? In Georgia, the Atlanta?
This was Atlanta, yes, of this year. Yeah, it's Izzy.
How cool was that? Did you enjoy that show?
Oh yeah. This is the beginning of the garage door. Now I'm down to the next set of panels. These are a couple pens.
Yeah,
a couple pens. I did a crochet hook for my aunt. That's a crochet hook. I think I have another picture of it.
How about your lathe? Do you have the huge lathes or the small? What brand is it and all that?
They're both the Harbor Freight. I have the mini lathe and I have the large lathe. Both in the shop. And so I turn all the little things on the little benchtop one.
Very cool.
But I will be doing some bowls. Here's my my dining room. I did some chair rail.
Yeah, I love houses that have that, dude.
That's not a bad paint job. That's tape. You got to point that out.
Yeah, you don't want to give up.
Yeah, don't want people to think I don't know what I'm doing.
What's up with that segmented cup somewhere that I just saw?
This year, this was a Yahtzee. This is the first thing I did. It was a Yahtzee, little Yahtzee. It was supposed to be for the Make It Forward.
Did you do the dice?
Started that. Yeah, I did the die too.
Nice.
And then it kind of fell by the wayside. They didn't get enough people to do it. So I think it's somewhere in the house or on my desk. This one here is just what was it? The cup.
Did you turn it though, or did you segment with a scroll saw or bandsaw? And
no, it was on the lathe.
Okay.
This is a cup I made.
And wait a second, do you with the cup? Is that beer in there?
Yes.
But that wasn't during work. That was after you finished working with power tools.
Oh yes. Well, you got to live dangerously sometimes. No. Yes, no. I don't drink while I do
live
work.
chat does not recommend drinking with any power tools.
Disclaimer.
This is what happens when you're turning acrylic.
Yeah.
Kind of goes all over the place.
Yeah, been there.
And then
if you scroll back up, you'll be able to see the mitre set. That's why it's called the mitre.
Yes.
Mic.
I did a video on that too. I still haven't turned that bowl yet though, because
he's got a set named after him.
Yeah. This will be in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to actually turn this down to actually make a actual bowl out of it. Or something. We'll figure out what it comes out to be.
That's gonna be cool.
Yeah. And this is my
whoa! I'm sorry. Before you because I'm seeing too many cool things. Do you have an iMake plate?
Yes.
So you
I have
took it,
Jersey.
huh?
Yes.
You grabbed it. Wow, dude. Awesome.
Yeah, my wife didn't know about it because the truck is in her name.
Right.
I have the Chiefs truck. I have the Chiefs truck.
There's a cricket. We found it. There's a cricket in the house.
And in the house. There's a cricket in the house. Sorry.
There's cricket somewhere. There's cricket on over here all the time.
No, what was I saying? Oh, I have the Chiefs truck for 4 years, so I didn't need a second vehicle. So my wife had her SUV, so I went and I actually went online and applied for it and everything. And when they came in, I changed the plate, and she was like, "Do you know my plate was changed?" I was like, "Yeah, I changed it." She was like, she wasn't too happy.
But dude, that you grabbed it before because it would have been snatched up quick.
Yeah, there's now it's funny because there's quite a few guys online now that I talk to that are from Jersey, and as we're gonna eventually have I think there's like 6 of us now that I know of. We'll have a hangout one day, a meetup to actually meet in person.
You could always change
I got it before they did. Yeah. So the next truck, the next vehicle I get, I'm actually going to put Maker on it. I'm not going to tell her. she won't be too happy. This is the built-ins I did in the living room. Right, living room. Yeah, in the living room.
So you've done a lot of remodeling inside that. I mean, the ceiling too, dude.
Yeah, the ceiling's one of the biggest projects I think I took on, and I think it came out good.
It's super
really like
kick,
it.
It's super kick butt, dude. I mean,
I don't know if I have a better picture in Facebook here.
I've been looking at those pictures, but it's good to just talk about it, just to.
Yeah, this is how I started it out. I actually did a 3-part series.
Yeah.
I really should go back and redo them and edit them down and maybe do some voiceover. Because I was kind of didn't know what I was doing with the videoing when I was doing it. But I just did the skeleton. These are all screwed to studs.
Right.
In the ceiling. I snaked through. I put the hi-hats in, and they're all LED, so they're not drawing anything.
Did you have issues with, like when I did my hi-hats, some areas, those little
The cross pieces?
Well, because you have the ones that no, because I have the ones that clamp down. I don't know what it's been so long now that I did those, and it's not like I do them every day, but it has these little black tabs that you flick them up,
yes.
And they grab onto the top side of the inside part of the sheetrock that's in the attic, and
Yes.
it holds your hi-hat there. Well, some of them, I guess the brand I was using was from Depot. I put it on, dude, and I ran screws through some of them to get them to stay shut. It made it sound barbaric, but they wouldn't. I didn't have the ones where you have the bar where you roll it, and it grabs onto the posts on either side. I had the ones with tabs that just hold on in that fashion. Which ones did you use?
Yeah, I have the tabs. They have the tabs. They're light something. I can't think of the name of them.
But did you have issues with them, or I guess it's just me?
No, it's just I don't know. I mean, I've put in a couple of thousand hi-hats in over the years, so it's like I don't know. It's kind of quick. I don't know.
Well, what I'm asking is, never had an issue with the darn tabs, dude, or what?
No, you do. I do sometimes if I have to take them out. Sometimes I don't want to let go.
Well, okay. Well, we'll continue. I hate that answer, but continue.
But there's probably somebody that had an issue.
Yeah, that doesn't make it any better.
Matt Huff just says, did he see pocket holes? He goes, no, that's a bad thing.
Yes, there are pocket holes right here. to connect the side pieces to the main. I also use construction adhesive. They're not going. It's not going anywhere. Everything's screwed
Plus
to
it's-
each other.
Right.
It's not going anywhere.
And screwed into the.
Yeah, and everything's glued together. And is that the no, that's the other picture. Yeah, this is the number one mom first scrolls.
That's better than the cat.
Hey.
The hashtag came out stunning.
Yeah,
So that was your first one?
That was my first one.
Nice.
That was on the benchtop flat blade. And I was like, there's no way I'd ever use this thing ever again. That's how much I didn't like it.
You done that with a flat blade?
That, yes. This
That
was
looks
with a
like
flat
done with a
blade.
spiral blade.
No, it was a flat blade.
Good God. Was it a number one?
I don't even know. I gave the thing away. I was like, forget this. I'm never using it again. That was, and then these I actually made the profile. Actually, on the built-ins, there's going to be drawers and doors with this same profile on it. So I decided for the intersection pieces, I was racking my brain on what to do for the intersection. I didn't want to butt them up, and I didn't want to have a seam. So, you know, I made a, and the cool thing is that the off pieces, when you actually miter these, it actually comes up with two different designs. They're very close to each other. I don't know if I don't have it on here. Darn it. It's very close that it's different. Like this has a big square.
Right.
The opposite would have a tiny square in the center. You really can't see it unless you're like underneath it and actually looking for it.
Right.
But so I did like every other one. I offed them. You know, it was a decision my wife made.
But were those pieces, you routed them yourself and all that?
Yes, yeah. I have that profile bit, which I'm going to cut for the doors and drawers for the built-ins that I.
That's
still
a
haven't
trip,
gotten to.
dude. Really
So,
awesome.
yes, I was like, and then I picture framed the window in our living room. I don't have a picture of it, but in the living room there's a big window. Yeah, this window here. I actually took the windowsill out, or I cut it back, I should say, and then I picture framed the whole window using that same profile. And yes, I'm a kind of a slave driver.
You put
It's
your
a punishment.
to work. Hey?
When he doesn't want to listen, you got to come help me. But yeah, I think that's.
Can we see that router table of yours?
Yeah. This I actually got this idea from Shane's hobby shop.
Nice.
He did that to his table saw. He mounted it right to the rails, and that's where it sits now. Sometimes it's a pain in the neck to take this fence off because it has the grooves with the screw. You know, the bolt goes through the slot. I may make a connector to go right to my rail. You know,
with a direct push
saw.
stick.
Yes, my direct push stick. Because if not, I wouldn't have a push stick.
I beg to differ. I can see the orange things behind it.
Well, yeah, my 11th finger. I think that's about it. That's about all the.
All right.
Oh, I made this. I have a video on this actually. Making a air filter for the shop, which I gave to Chris Cute because I got another one, and then I think he regifted it to Jay Rivera, and I think Jay went through a couple of filters already because that guy runs through sawdust like crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Go through wood like crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Wood, I should say.
All right. So, well, I stopped sharing there.
Okay.
All right. Any questions for for miter?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
Oh,
so
tell lie. Yes, sorry,
Okay.
there is one. I've been requested by Mark Christopher to ask you about your super secret skill of finding liquor stores.
Super secret skills. I think he was talking about Atlanta when we were driving around looking for a liquor store. Just
Did
make
you
some
find
U-turns.
it?
Yeah, we found it. I guess in Canada they don't drive too fast.
So, I want to ask you a couple of questions so that people, because again, the idea is so that people get to know you more. But I want to go in. We've talked about the woodworking, a little bit about your life. You know, like the firefighting and what you do. Can you give us a? Right, that's kind of crazy, right? You go into burning houses. I mean, can you give us a little bit how long you've been doing that and what got you started in doing that and all that?
Yeah. I've been doing it since I was 15. I started as a junior firefighter, and in my town, which is not in Richfield Park, it wasn't very big. And I lived on a street, and maybe like 8 houses up was the firehouse. And the guy across the street from me, Mr. O'Shea, him and his sons were firefighters. Me and Liam were the same age, and we decided to join together. So it was kind of cool. It's 2 o'clock in the morning when the tones went off, and we used to use the old. They still do use the old air horn. We had our Plectron. It's a little like pager thing on our side, but they still use the street horn, and we'd come out, we'd run out on the street, and we'd all run up the street, and I just kind of fell in love with doing it. Been doing it since.
And right now you're a captain?
No, right now I'm assistant chief.
Okay.
The end of this year, hopefully, most likely I'll be voted in as chief. I'll be chief for 2 years, and then after that, I'll still be a firefighter. I just be an ex-chief.
Very cool, dude. And so what are the projects that you look forward to doing and that you want to tackle? What do where is it that you want to go with what you're doing? Sort of like your aspirations, your thoughts on that.
What was that, Jamie?
What was that, JP?
I was taking a drink.
Oh, mancrafting.com. Oh, mancraftingtm.com.
I was taking a drink.
I'll take one too.
No, hang on.
But I eventually, to go back to, I right before high school, I got a job, and I was going to be working with a master craftsman, and I had the job all set and ready to go. And unfortunately, I had an accident in the shop in high school, and it kind of threw everything off. So I really didn't. I got into the profession with Verizon just as a job. I really never. I don't have a passion for it. I mean, it pays the bills, and it is what it is. But I would like to get this whole thing up and running, that I can actually make things. I could do odd jobs. I would love to do that. I like working with my hands. I like to be a laborer, I guess you could say. Like moving mulch. I don't have people do it. I do it myself. I just like doing things. I don't sit still much.
Right.
But in high school, I went into electric shop, drafting, metal shop, and wood shop. And pretty much as the years went on, I got better at doing the shop projects. And the teacher, when we had a project to do, I would make 2. I would make one for my mom and one for my best friend's mom, who was like my second mom. And come senior year, the teacher was just like, Mike, you're going to get an A+ anyway. You do whatever project you want to do for the year. So I started making a dining room table for my mom, and I was on the fourth leg of the dining room table. I glued up a bunch of pieces of wood, and I was cleaning off the glue, and I was putting it through the joiner, and the guard wasn't real good. The teacher didn't tell us about push sticks, and I kind of slipped and my finger went into the joiner, which totally threw my life into turmoil. Not at that moment, because I just grabbed my finger and told him, you know, it felt like sticking your finger in a fan. I don't know if any crazy person ever done that before, the plastic fans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, but it was slow motion, and I'm not gonna get into too many gory details. But you know, I just grabbed my finger. I went to him. I said, "Mr. Walsh, I got to go to nurse." That whole process was fine. It was just afterwards, I kind of got stuck on a couple of the painkillers, and you know, never really. I almost didn't graduate high school just because of that whole, you know, mess. But
it's traumatic. It's traumatic. Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't go buy a blender. I couldn't go buy a hairdryer. Anything with a motor running, I just couldn't go buy. It screwed up my brain, and I just had to kind of get over that over the years, and it kind of eased my way back into doing things. And you know, for years, or not for years, for like months, my wife didn't know I had, you know, the tip of my finger missing. You know, because I would always walk around either with fists or put my hand in my pocket, or, you know, and I try and keep that shot out of the videos I do, but every once in a while it's in there. But, you know, I just, you know, it's not something, you know, I kind of put out there too much, just because, you know, it wasn't, and I don't, you know, everything that happened, you know, and I don't fault the teacher, you know, I fault more the machine, people who kept the machine, this, that, the other thing. So, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, I have no ill will to the teacher.
Well, I thank you for sharing that. You know, it is a traumatic, you know, thing, especially for a young person, you know, in school. A couple of years back, 2 or 3 years ago, I was getting ready to do a flea market, and I was making boxes, a lot of boxes to sell. The week prior, I had done really great. The week before that, I'd done so. But because the week prior I had done freaking awesome, I was like, I'm gonna make a bunch of boxes. I was tired, and I was cutting on the bandsaw, and zzz, and it's just horrible. And it was depressing. They actually attached it back, and it's all there. But at the time, it nipped a little bit of bone, and I had to collect the piece, and I was screwed, right? And so very traumatic. So yeah, so I appreciate you sharing that. You know, so be careful if you're tired.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you're like a little bit drunk or a lot drunk or whatever, don't do none of that stuff. But you guys out there know that. So this is for people that it could change your life.
Yeah, well, it did, because I had that job all set to go, and it just kind of went away because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't.
Right.
You know, I wasn't going by power tools. That took, I would say, a good 5 years before I really used any type of power tool, and I would say a good 20 years before I used a joiner.
Wow. Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah. It's
JP.
just because it's just, you know, in you that, you know, you're very cautious, but if you abide by the rules and you use all the safety precautions, you know, I know not all of us always put earphones on and glasses on, but the major things is really what you gotta.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, I mean, it just takes a moment to be safe about it, and you can save yourself a lot of heart. You know, you'll never know that you were protecting yourself at the time because you have the safety that you need, but it just takes that one time to learn that lesson and say, damn, you know. Okay, JP, you had something to say?
Yeah, we've got another question. It's actually a double barrel question from Steve from Temple Boy Turnings again. The first part of the question was, what's your favourite tool?
I
And I'm about to sneeze.
Actually, to tell you the truth, God bless you. I would say my hands, just because I used to love carving, and eventually I will get back onto that. I have a project that I have laying around since high school that I never finished, that I will be doing, and I will be videoing. So it might be a half-aid answer, but I really don't have a particular
that's actually a really good answer.
You know, I really like hand tools, and even though I don't have many in my videos, I did learn on them all, and I learned how to sharpen them all, you know, by hand, not using any type of machine. So eventually I will get back into doing a lot more of that stuff, and this garage into an actual functioning shop, then I can actually get back into that.
And the second part of the question was, if you was given a $5,000 tool gift card, what would you buy?
5,000? I don't know. I guess a new table saw and a new joiner.
You'd still go for a joiner.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually, yeah.
You're just
You're okay
A
with
nice helical head one, so that I can really do
safety
damage.
guard.
You're just gonna, after all that, you're just gonna.
I pushed it like that.
and a DeWalt scroll saw for Jamie.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions before we head
let me just quickly scroll back. We've got a couple more people that's turned up.
Okay.
Muddy Fancy's turned up. Ex-guest of the show, Mr. Bobby Duke. So you can go back and look at Eloy's videos and watch that interview.
He did an awesome pendant, right? Wasn't it? It was a pendant, right? He just
Bobby
carved
Duke?
It
was a mask.
No. The little pendant thing he did. Right?
Wait a second. What I was looking at was a pendant then, because he last posted. See, now I'm going like this. I'm just automatically accepting what I thought it was the continuation of that mask from Zelda, finally painted, is what he was showing us. But you're saying he did a pendant?
I thought he carved the pendant out of a rock or a stone.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah. And he put a rubber
Yeah.
buff on it.
Oh, okay, but that's not recently.
No,
I just saw it.
The Kajora mask was recent.
It was recently. Oh, okay, because I just saw before we were talking. I was scrolling through Facebook and I seen it again. That he posted it yesterday, I think it was, or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Yeah. He put rubber buff on a stone and he carved it into a heart shape. I believe it was for his mother.
I thought it was pretty cool.
So you got Muddy Fences in the chat, or ex-guest Bobby Duke. Dave Gatton's out there. Katie Dotson's still out there. Charles Deering. Crosscut Creation.
Does Dave want to see my manual CNC?
Your manual CNC. Mark Christopher, great show tonight. Thank you.
And I wanted to mention we also had Matt Haas in here. He also
he's still there.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Matt also was on here on the Mad Maker show. You can see that as well. The show next week we're gonna have. So just picture, if you would, we're woodworkers, we're makers, creative people. Picture someone far off across the pond, just out there in the middle of nowhere, satellite reception, transmitting out from this little shed.
Ones and zeros.
Just ones and zeros out into the ether. And there, right, just a flat land of, like, I don't even know how the vegetation, it's just there's nothing. And he lives out in the middle of nowhere. Temple Boy Turning. Okay, so we're going to be interviewing this insane person. Not insane in a bad way. See, there's insane that, like, axe murderers, and then there's insane that just creative insanity.
Insane in the membrane.
So that'll be next week. We're gonna wrap it up, guys, I do want to thank everyone out in the chat. Thank you for the donations, guys. Check out the links below if you would to help us out. Check out those links. Visit Miter Mike, visit Jamie Page, my website. So, you know, we keep doing this and exploring and getting to know makers in a different light. And Miter Mike, could you please, you know, some final thoughts and tell us where you'd like people to go check out your stuff, how they could, you know, give you a thumbs up and all that good stuff.
Sure. Thank you, everyone, for coming on here. And I know you came on to see Eloy and Jamie, but you kind of got stuck with me a little bit. And you can find me at MiterMikesWoodshop.com. I am on all the social medias, Instagram, YouTube as Miter Mike's Woodshop. In Twitter, I think I'm Miter Mike's Shop. I am most active on Instagram. I try and post daily of what I'm doing. YouTube videos, I'm trying to do 2 a week, update video and then an actual build video. I did my 2,000 subscriber giveaway the other night, which was horrible. I know. It was a fix, yeah. Hobby really wanted that glue bot.
He's been calling it a cheese bottle all night.
But thank you everyone for supporting me and supporting everybody in the community. It's very you know, it's great to have somewhere that, you know, we all could go to, you know, talk to each other and, you know, bounce ideas off.
Well, thank you, dude. Before I hand it over to JP, so did you enjoy yourself, Mike?
Oh yeah, it was fun. You know, usually I'm in the chat on most of these. You know.
So you enjoyed yourself. So would you be willing to come back and visit us again?
Sure, I'll come back anytime you want.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate you visiting with us. JP?
You can find all my stuff if you go to harneymedia.com, look for that logo and click it.
Right on. All right, guys. Have a great week. I'll see you guys next week, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll be Temple Boy turning, and we'll get down and dirty and find out what the heck is his problem, right?
Hey, he does scroll saw stuff?
You know what? I've not seen him do scroll. I saw him.
Yeah, he does scroll saw stuff. Yeah, he's a scroller.
I saw him with a hammer or like a mallet hitting like satellites when they weren't working and insanity. So, you know, we have to ask him questions, but we'll find out next week. All right, guys. Peace.
Take it easy.